Resveratrol has become one of the most talked about compounds in the conversation about aging, not because it is a miracle molecule, but because it touches several of the same biological pathways that change as we grow older. Found naturally in red wine, grapes, and certain berries, resveratrol interacts with the inner machinery of the cell in ways that scientists believe may influence how quickly or slowly we age. What makes it especially interesting is its ability to affect multiple layers of cellular health, from inflammation to mitochondrial function to the behavior of senescent cells, creating a combined effect that feels greater than any single mechanism on its own. At the molecular level, resveratrol activates pathways linked with stress resistance and metabolic stability. The most famous of these is the SIRT1 pathway, part of a family of genes associated with longevity in several species. SIRT1 influences how well cells repair DNA damage, how efficiently they use energy, and how strongly they respond to inflammation. When resveratrol stimulates SIRT1, it essentially encourages the cell to behave as if it were in a more youthful, energy-efficient state. Although this activation is modest compared to controlled laboratory conditions, it suggests that regular exposure to resveratrol may gently support long-term cellular resilience. Another area where resveratrol shows promise is in slowing cellular senescence, the process where older or damaged cells stop dividing but remain metabolically active. These senescent cells release inflammatory compounds that speed up tissue aging and contribute to age-related diseases. Resveratrol appears to reduce the formation of new senescent cells by improving mitochondrial function and reducing oxidative stress, two major drivers of senescence. Some studies even suggest it may help immune cells clear out old or dysfunctional cells more efficiently. This doesn't reverse aging, but it helps maintain a healthier balance between new, functional cells and older ones that could otherwise contribute to chronic inflammation. Its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects also play a role. Over years, oxidative damage accumulates and accelerates aging at the molecular level, particularly in tissues like the skin, heart, and brain. Resveratrol helps counter this load by neutralizing free radicals and calming the inflammatory responses that tend to increase with age. This is one reason populations with regular red wine consumption, such as those in Mediterranean regions, often show strong cardiovascular health and lower levels of chronic inflammation, both important foundations for a longer and healthier life. Even though diet and lifestyle play huge roles here, resveratrol is one of the compounds that adds an extra layer of support. The question many people ask is whether moderate red wine intake actually translates into greater biological youthfulness. Observational studies offer interesting hints. People who drink red wine in small amounts, often one glass a day or less, tend to show better metabolic markers, healthier blood vessel function, and lower inflammation compared to non-drinkers or heavy drinkers. Some studies even find associations between moderate red wine intake and longer telomeres, suggesting a slower pace of biological aging. These findings don't prove that wine itself is responsible, but they do reinforce the idea that resveratrol may be part of a lifestyle pattern linked with longevity. Of course, it's important to acknowledge the limits. Alcohol always carries risks, especially in large amounts, and drinking more wine does not equal more resveratrol. The concentration in wine is relatively low, meaning that the benefits come from consistent, moderate intake rather than excess. For many people, this moderation fits naturally into a balanced lifestyle, one where red wine is enjoyed with meals, paired with nutrient-rich foods, and woven into social habits that themselves support mental and emotional well-being. Overall, the story of resveratrol is one of small but meaningful advantages that add up over time. It doesn't halt aging, but it gently supports healthier cellular function, encourages better metabolic balance, and may reduce the silent drivers of age-related decline. Whether consumed through moderate red wine intake or other dietary sources, resveratrol contributes to an internal environment that feels more youthful, more resilient, and better equipped to handle the stresses that accumulate across a lifetime.